Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Bad road protest affects students sitting PEP exams in Montego Bay. MP for South East St. Catherine is blasting the Portmore Municipal Corporation. And later in sports, Reggae Girls through to last 16 of Under-17 Championship. I'm Giovanni Dennis and here are the details. Up first, scores of students sitting the grade 6 exams in Norwood St. James were affected by bad road protests as they made their way to school for the sitting of their PEP exams. As O'Shane Masters reports, taxi operators say this was the only way to get their voices heard.
Taxi operators who ply the Paradise Norwood to downtown Montego Bay route withdrew their service Wednesday morning to protest the deplorable state of the main road. Now, Ministry of Education Director for Region 4, Dr. Michelle Pinnock, told TVJ News that the police assisted in getting the students to school centers for the first of a two-day curriculum-based test. The taxi operators say for years they have been complaining about the condition of the road, but it seems to have fallen on deaf ears.
We hear a whole heap of things over the years, and not just today alone. This try to deal with long time and nothing. We not get no result. So right now we are look result.
The bad word is plaguing me. Even Saturday the last time I spent $40,000 on my back end. They paid $28,000 for the back end and $12,000 to put it up. And we still have to operate on the same road. We're asking the councillor, please assist us with the road.
And we need help. Other roads are getting fixed, and this is the main road from Norwood to downtown, and they need to fix this road.
The taxi operators say while they understand the plight of the traveling public, the protest is necessary to get their voices heard.
Right now, it's hard. Gas price, and then when I check it, parts price, everything, it's tough. It's tough, my boss, really tough.
Councillor for the Montego Bay Central Division, Joshua Cummins, has given assurance that work on the road will begin tomorrow.
I don't think it is really necessary because we had 3 meetings in regards to the fixing of the road. And on Thursday of last week, we had our 3rd meetings to update the association of taxi drivers that we are going to fix the road. And to come this morning and see the road block, it was a bit disappointing.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine Robert Miller is blasting the Portmore Municipal Corporation over what he claims is its lack of strategic planning in the municipality. This follows the recent erection of speed bumps along Jermaine Road in Portmore, where a student from the Bridgeport Primary School was mowed down a few weeks ago. Sandy Williams has this follow-up.
The erection of the speed bumps along the Jermaine Road, where the Bridgeport Primary School is located in Portmore, is expected to help save lives by forcing motorists to cut their speed while traversing the area. The construction follows the death of one student and the injuring of another after they were hit by a car outside the school's gate 3 weeks ago. Since the erection of the speed bumps, there have been 2 motor vehicle accidents along Jermaine Road. Member of Parliament for South East St. Catherine Robert Miller points to the speed bumps as the cause of the accidents, adding that the traffic calming device is creating more problems.
Speed bumps, in my view, don't alleviate the problem at all. Speed bump cause more problem, as you can see. 2 persons met in an accident subsequently because of the speed bump. The area is not properly lit. I would recommend more signage for the area. Persons need to be respectful of the speed limit in school zones. More paintings on the road. I would also recommend railings on the thoroughfare and exit areas.
He says the time has come for mandatory warden to be placed at each school across Jamaica.
We also need to ensure that we have flashing lights in school districts so persons can see it visually to ensure that they keep on the speed limit. And enforcement is also important. Because when you stand at any one of our schools, especially I stood at Bridgeport Primary, and there's no regard totally for the speed limit. So flashing lights are important.
Mr. Miller says he would have advised against erecting speed bumps. However, the municipal corporation did not inform him of plans to construct them. He says the move reflects a lack of strategic planning at the corporation.
I think this was premature. I think this was not well thought out. And it shows a lack of leadership, especially in the Portmore Municipal Council, with the mayor and the councillor for the area in particular, because it was the same municipal council that approved Price Mart and Fontana to be in the Sunshine City, soon to be a parish, without proper thought be given to the transportation strategy going forward.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
To other news, there's a call this afternoon for companies to employ more persons with disabilities. Labour and Social Security Minister Carl Samuda made the appeal in Parliament during his contribution to the sectoral debate. He adds that more should be done to improve access to services by people with special needs and eliminate discrimination.
Hire them not just because they are not employed and you bring them in at the lowest staff level, but at every level in your organization, in keeping with their capabilities. As a society, we must do more to ensure that our brothers and sisters living with disabilities have greater access and are not underemployed or discriminated against in the workplace. And anywhere we find evidence and can successfully prove that evidence, we will be bringing the matter to court.
The Disabilities Act came into effect in February this year, 8 years after the legislation was passed in Parliament. Despite the legislation, there have been concerns about limited infrastructure, such as ramps, to accommodate people with disabilities. Meanwhile, the parliamentary opposition is questioning the decision to protect the local Irish potato industry from imports when data suggest the produce is more expensive to produce in Jamaica. Opposition spokesperson on Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Lisa Hanna, told the House on Tuesday that currently Jamaica does not have a competitive advantage in the production of Irish potatoes.
Our production cost to produce locally grown Irish potato is 750% above the world market. The current farm gate price for a pound of Irish potato in this country to the Jamaican people is $1.14 US cents, or $176. The world market price for Irish potato is US 15 cents, or 23 Jamaican dollars. So Jamaicans are paying 7.5 times more the world market for this product.
Ms. Hanna believes Jamaica should be more focused on producing items it can export, such as peppers, ginger, papaya, mangoes, and other value-added products.
Value in producing something if we can't produce it cost-effectively, or at least 40% above world market prices. Instead, we remain focused on banning the exports or having a few preferred importers, which only serve to create agricultural monopolies that benefit a few people and push the prices up.
In the meantime, Ms. Hanna is also suggesting that branded Jamaica should begin exporting bottled water.
To even carve out 0.5% of the global bottled water market share, we would have a national export industry worth anywhere between US $1 billion to $2 billion. And this is an achievable goal. If you take out bauxite and aluminum, right now Jamaica does not export even $250 million US worth of products. Rum, $56 million US. Yam, $30 million. Coffee, $11.9 million. Round it off to 12. Baked goods, $22 million. Ackee, $20 million US. Sauces, $24 million. Scrap metal, $11.6 million. Chemicals, $31 million. We are not exporting anything.
And it's now time for a break here on the Midday News, but please stay with us. We'll have much more when we return. Welcome back. We're continuing the news. The St. Catherine Public Health Department is being blasted for inaction regarding raw sewage on the Tallspin Road in the parish. Councillor for the Ginger Ridge Division, Ralston Wilson, said he reported the issue, but nothing has been done. He says it's a health hazard that needs an immediate remedy.
What is being done to correct this issue and when it is going to be corrected? Mr. Chairman, Spanish Town is in a terrible, terrible state. I have also mentioned to them where people go over health hazard and get pallets and put over the health hazard and selling food like pear, apple, peaches, name it, where some people don't even wash it. And I think those fruits cannot be washed. Those fruits should be dumped.
Spanish Town's Mayor Norman Scott says he has been made aware of the issues and representation has been made. He has called for the Health Department to move with alacrity in dealing with the matter. And it's now time for the Business Minute with O'Shane Masters.
Businesses in all industries surveyed except the tourism sector indicated plans to increase capital investments in the short to medium term. Based on responses to the latest Business Confidence Survey, only 13% of businesses in the tourism sector were bullish on increasing investment. That's a 24% decline compared to the first quarter of 2021. Head of Market Research Limited, Don Anderson, says other services, including personal care, saw the largest increase in the desire to invest.
72.7% of the firms in the construction and installation sector say that they're going to be investing more in capital to grow their company. The largest single increase was in the other services, which are the kind of, personal care, barber services, etc., salons. That was up by 27.7%. So people are beginning to become more entrepreneurial, if you wish, and that is what is feeding into this significantly increased intention to grow their business.
And Russian energy giant Gazprom says it has halted gas exports to Poland and Bulgaria over the country's refusal to pay for the supplies in rubles. The firm said services will not be restored until payments are made in the Russian currency. It comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered unfriendly countries to pay for gas in rubles. Poland confirmed supplies had stopped, but Bulgaria said it was still unclear whether supplies had been halted. The threat, in which Mr. Putin said existing contracts will be stopped, has been seen as an attempt to boost the ruble, which has been hit by Western sanctions. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm O'Shane Masters.
And here's a preview of what's coming up in this evening's Health Report.
In this evening's Health Report, we'll look at ovarian cancer.
They're not sure of the specific reason, but in persons who have a strong family history, so persons who have BRCA, so that's BRCA1 and 2, this genetic condition which increases the risk of ovarian cancer. They're usually advised to remove the ovaries and the tubes at a young age. In these women who have removed the tubes, they have found early cells or precursor cells, which later can go on to develop into ovarian cancer cells. And this gave rise to more research being done and the theory of ovarian cancer starting in the fallopian tube actually came about.
That's the Health Report in Primetime News at 7. And now for today's healthy living tip. Maintain a weekly exercise regime. Eat a healthy diet and avoid carcinogens.
And it's now time for the top regional and international stories with Sandy Williams.
In the region, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says Venezuela has agreed to cancel St. Vincent and the Grenadines' debt under Petrocaribe, its oil initiative with Latin American and Caribbean countries. He said, consequently, this could result in the national debt declining by 9%. Dr. Gonsalves, who returned home on Tuesday evening after spending 4 days in a hospital in Venezuela, said Caracas will halve the debt of other member countries of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean (OECS) that are members of Petrocaribe. The debt will now be reset to offer fuel at 35% discount to participating countries. On the international scene, at least 11 people were electrocuted and 15 others injured during a religious procession held by a temple in Tamil Nadu in southern India. The accident occurred when the temple chariot came in contact with high transmission live wire in Tanjore district. 2 children were among the dead. Officials said the death toll could go up as some of the injured were critical. According to Fire and Rescue Services official, a generator which was powering the chariot got stuck on a curve in the road. While adjusting it, the top of the chariot came in contact with the high voltage wire. A case has been lodged and police have opened an investigation. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
And we now head to a quick break. When we come back, Renardo Brown will have the Midday Sports.
Welcome back. It's now time for your Midday Sports. Now, the Under-17 Reggae girls are now through to the knockout phase of the CONCACAF Women's Championship after a 3-1 win over the Dominican Republic in that country on Tuesday. Maria Torreira gave Dom Rep a 3rd-minute lead before Jamaica equalized in the 30th minute through Tiny Seaton. Danique Wilson then put the Jamaicans ahead in the 70th minute, and Natoya Atkinson made the point safe in stoppage time to give Jamaica their 2nd win in succession. Now, it means Jamaica will make progress alongside Canada to the round of 16 stage after the Canadians beat Bermuda 5-0 in their encounter on Tuesday. The Jamaicans will face the Canadians in their final group stage game on Thursday, with kickoff set for 6 p.m. Now, in cricket, schoolboy cricketers will not have the opportunity to showcase their skills in the prestigious Spalding Cup this year. This has taken a stance to protect the off-the-field affairs of the students, but some stakeholders are not in entire agreement with the stance. Excelsior and St. Elizabeth Technical are the respective urban and rural era champions, but President of the Intersecondary School Sports Association, Keith Wellington, says the body's hands were tied to execute what signifies island-wide cricket supremacy.
When we looked at the time that was left available, we found it difficult to schedule a 3-day game during the period that is left, because as you are aware, external exams has already started. This week, which will be the week coming up, we have a number of students who are playing sport who have their external PE exams, and then the week after, basically all the written exams start on May 2. So we would have found it difficult to have a 3-day game during this period.
Now, ISA is planning to stage an all-Headley Cup and all-Grey Shield match later this year. Now, with the dream of winning a quadruple still alive, Liverpool will look to make use of home advantage when they take on Villarreal in their Champions League first leg semi-final tie at Anfield later today. The Reds will start as overwhelming favourites, not just for the tie or the first leg, but also for the tie, and they hope to make their 10th European final. However, Villarreal can keep faith in knowing Liverpool are without a win at Anfield in this season's knockout rounds and have managed only 2 victories in their 5 UEFA Champions League knockout games at home to Spanish clubs. The match is set to kick off at 2 p.m. And finally, the Miami Heat clinched their spot in the NBA Eastern Conference semifinals after beating the Atlanta Hawks despite missing key forward Jimmy Butler. Now, with scoring sensation Butler and point guard Kyle Lowry injured, Heat held off the visiting Hawks to win 97-94. It secured a 4-1 win for the Heat in the best-of-7 first-round playoff. Miami will play the winner of the Philadelphia 76ers and Toronto Raptors, with the Sixers leading 3-2 in their first-round series. In the Western Conference, the Memphis Grizzlies took a 3-2 lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves with a 111-109 victory. Ja Morant, recently crowned the 2021-22 NBA Most Improved Player, scored 18 points, or 18 of his game-high 30 points in the fourth quarter, netting the Grizzlies' final 11 points, which included a tie-breaking layup in the final second. Now, the Phoenix Suns also edged 3-2 ahead after 5 games of their first-round series against the New Orleans Pelicans, thanks to a 112-97 win last evening. And that's it for your Midday Sports Report. Giovanni, it's back to you.
Thanks so much, Renardo. Well, top of the table clash tomorrow in the Under-17 Championship. Your prediction?
Well, it will be tough. I'm hoping for a Jamaica victory, but I'll take a draw. But I do think Canada will win.
I don't think Canada will win.
3.
I'm a Jamaican and I will always say Jamaica until the day I die. Well, that's it for the Midday News. I'm Giovanni Dennis. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.